Alright, let's be honest. How many times have you just sat there, staring at your screen, being completely frozen because a game threw an impossible choice at you? Like, do you betray your closest ally for a shot at survival? Or do you save one character but kill another? Or maybe it's something as simple as picking the right dialogue option. But for some reason, it still feels like life or death. And the worst part? Even after you finally make your choice, you can't stop thinking about it. Did I just screw up? Could I have done something better? But here's the crazy part. These choices, they don't actually matter. It's a game. None of this affects real life. So why does it still mess with our heads? That's what we're breaking down today. How decision-based games trick our brains. Why they make us feel so much. And whether they're actually training us for real life decision making. And trust me, after this, you will never look at decision-based games the same way again. Have you ever played The Walking Dead and just freeze? Like, you know it's just a game. You know these characters aren't real. But your brain is treating this like an actual life or death decision. Turns out, that's because, on a psychological level, it kinda is. See, your brain doesn't fully separate in-game choices from real ones. The same parts of your brain that handle real decision making, specifically the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, light up when you're making tough choices in a game. That's why when Life is Strange forces you to make a gut-wrenching decision, your heart starts racing like you're in actual crisis. And game developers know this, but they use it against you. Timers force you to make snap decisions so you don't have time to second guess. Permanent consequences make every choice feel heavy, no going back, no do-overs. Emotional connections with characters make decisions personal. Think about it. Detroit Become Human. Think about it. Detroit Become Human. Every choice leads to different branches, but you never know what would have happened unless you replay the game. You know, that uncertainty, that's what keeps you up at night. Replaying the moment in your head. And it's not just narrative-driven games. Even in Mass Effect, people spend hours deciding which squad mates to bring, because maybe it'll change the story. So yeah, decision-based games definitely mess with your head. But here's where it gets even crazier. See, it's one thing to think about choices, it's another to feel them. And decision-based games, they make sure you feel every single one. Let's talk about The Last of Us. There's a moment where you have to decide between fighting or escaping. It's not just about what's logical, it's about what feels right in the moment. And when you pick, you feel the weight of that decision, because the game makes sure you care. And here's why that works. When we make emotionally charged decisions, our brains release dopamine, the reward chemical, or cortisol, the stress hormone. That's why when you make a tough choice in a game, it doesn't just disappear from your mind, it sticks with you. Have you ever played Undertale and regretted going for the genocide route? Yeah. That's your brain punishing you for your choices. But here's the wild part. This kind of emotional engagement actually trains your brain. The more you make tough choices under pressure, the better your brain gets at handling high-stakes moments in real life. So in other words, playing decision-based games is basically emotional training. So, here's the big question. Do these games actually change how you make decisions in real life? Short answer? Yes. Think about it. Let's say you're playing The Witcher 3. You are constantly evaluating. Think about it. When you're playing The Witcher 3, you are constantly evaluating options, predicting consequences, and figuring out the least disastrous outcome. That's the same skill set you use when you make real-life decisions. Studies on cognitive flexibility, a fancy term for being able to adapt and think critically, show that games like these actually improve our ability to make complex decisions quickly. But there's a downside too. See, while decision-based games train us to think critically, they also teach us to second-guess everything. Because we are so used to multiple choices and alternate paths that in real life, which doesn't have a rewind button, can feel frustrating. But you ever get stuck overthinking something small, like picking what to eat or what movie to watch or even what to text someone? Blame games like Until Dawn for training your brain to believe every choice has huge consequences. But as we know, every good side also has a bad side. Now let's talk about the bad side. Because yeah, decision-based games are fun and all, but they can also make you overthink everything. Ever spend way too long on a single choice in a game? Reloading over and over again just to get the perfect outcome? That's called decision fatigue, and it's a real thing. Psychologists have found that when we make too many tough choices, we eventually get mentally exhausted. And when that happens, our ability to make good decisions starts to tank. So while these games train our brains, they also teach us to obsess over every little detail, sometimes to the point of anxiety. So, first of all, thank you for making it through. So, what's the takeaway? Decision-based games aren't just entertainment. They're psychological playgrounds that shape how we think, process emotions, and even make real-life choices. They train our brains to handle stress and to think critically, but they also make us overthink and second-guess ourselves. Bottom line, these games are a mirror of how we handle choices, both in and outside the game. So next time you're stuck on a choice in a game, remember you're not just picking between two options, you're rewiring your brain. And now, I want to hear from you. What's the hardest decision you've ever made in a game? Drop it in the comments.